Before we get into the video, I need you guys to do me a favour. Number 1, like the video. Also comment, let me know your thoughts on the story. Not many men, let alone gangsters, were afforded the respect and admiration the notorious Glasgow gangster Mick or Michael Healy commanded. Now Mick Healy is probably most famous for the raid on National Westminster Bank in Torquay in Devon of May 1991. Where he and his gang that consisted of Ian and Blink MacDonald were aiming to get away with over £1 million in hard, cold cash. The gang had broken into the bank a day before and hid in a specially constructed void beneath the stairs. The men snacked on nuts and ham and cheese sandwiches, waiting for sunrise. Now the gang, armed with GUNs including pistols and sawn-offs and poles and blades, had ambushed the bank staff as soon as they entered and walked through the entrance door, pushing the employees against the wall where they were then bound. Now it was said that Mike Healy, who was on the run at the time of the incident, was the mastermind of this raid. Now 2 members of staff who were women were dragged around by their hair and marched to the Westminster Bank vault before being told to open a safe. To the dismay of then 31-year-old Mick Healy, he was told that the safe could not be opened without the keys, an item the female employees did not have. Now in anger and frustration, the gang offered a very real warning when one of the gangsters raised the sawn-off to the ceiling and pressed the trigger. Letting it go, clumps of plaster fell from above and landed on the employees. Now in the incident, it was alleged that one of the employees had actually been shot, which is alleged to be false. So the bank manager was then ordered to retrieve the keys, but he allegedly refuted and asked the men to let his workers go and then they could work something out. Ultimately, Mick Healy and his gang would leave empty-handed. As the mastermind and considered one of Scotland's most dangerous criminals, Mick Healy was jailed for 19 years for this incident. This was in part because he had escaped from Shotts prison by hiding in the back of a butcher van in 1988 and had been on a run, as I said, at the time that he attempted to rob the bank. Now, during his trial, Mick Healy represented himself. He presented himself as a man who was under immense pressure from the Glasgow underworld crime bosses and had participated in the raid due to the power and influence of crime boss Paul Ferris. The robbery was said to be Paul Ferris's idea. He was the real mastermind, and effectively Mick Healy was just a pawn. Now Mick Healy astonishingly then claimed that he had informed notorious crime boss Arthur Thompson Sr. that his son was in danger. In court, Mick Healy then claimed that because of the tip-off, Paul Ferris had then put a bounty on Mick Healy's head, and he was afraid. Now Mick Healy called his former girlfriend to the stand, Sandra Rudolph. During their exchange of words, Mick Healy put it to her and says, "I got into a conversation with you, possibly through panic. I believed people were going to M me, and they were going to M Arthur Thompson Jr. Now Arthur Thompson Sr. seemed to be unfazed by the information. After all, this was just another someone telling him to watch your back." However, on August 18th, 1991, Arthur Thompson Jr. was fatally shot 3 times outside the family home, the Ponderosa. The first ammo caught Arthur in the cheek, the second in the ribs, tearing through the lungs. The third ammo struck the heart. The person allegedly responsible was enforcer Paul Ferris. Paul Ferris was arrested and actually charged with DM. During the trial, dangerous enforcer Paul Ferris claimed that the hitman that shot Arthur Thompson Jr. was a hitman known only by the name of The Apprentice. In a trial that cost over £4.1 million, the largest and most expensive trial in Scottish history at the time, Paul Ferris was victorious and acquitted of the M charge. Now despite Michael Healy implicating Paul Ferris in the M of Arthur Thompson Jr., Paul still heaped praise upon Mick Healy, saying that he was a real man of his word till the very end. Again, Mick Healy was one of the only few gangsters that were afforded respect from other crime bosses. Stay safe.